Well, good morning again, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Network Admin Life. Grace and peace to you from our Lord Jesus Christ. Coming to you from the parking lot of our county sheriff's department here. You can see there's an actual sheriff's vehicle out there. There's the sheriff's department, and over there, I don't know if you can see it, is the jail. So yeah, just hanging out here. Why am I down here? Well, I have a concealed weapons permit, and it's been renewed, and I have to pick it up. So they open up in about 20 minutes or so, and I thought it'd be a great time to just sit here and do my network admin issue of the week. And oh boy, what a doozy it was. So 2 days ago, we had a planned power outage by our engineering department. So the entire hospital campus was going to lose power, so they could connect up some new chilling units at our central plant that need to be connected directly to our utility, our electrical utility. So, which is Pacific Gas and Electric Company. So they were out there ready to hook it into their main line, and but to do that, we needed to power down the hospital. So what they do is they transfer everything over to e-power, emergency power. And once that's done, then they can open the main breaker from PG&E and hook up their things, hook up their new chillers. So they did that. They did their work. So I was there to make sure that all of our switches came back up normally. Because last time they did this, they all did. It wasn't a big issue, but they still want us there just in case. And it was a good call this time, because for some reason this time when electrical power came back, we had a host of issues. So I'll just go down the list. Our pathology lab is basically a separate building. It kept coming on the network and dropping off, coming on, dropping off. So I went over to investigate. I go over to the network closet, and there is no air conditioning at all. So the switch would heat up, it'd go into thermal shutdown to protect itself, and when it cooled down enough, it would start back up. So I opened the door to the cabinet that the switch is mounted in. I opened the door to the outside. And by the way, we're going through a heat wave right now. So luckily this was at, it was about 7 a.m. when I finally got over there. And it was about, I'd say probably about 70 degrees outside. The high that day had been 105 degrees. So I'm glad it was 70. So I opened the door, it cooled down, and they were able to stay up. But then I noticed there were a lot of CRC errors, more CRC errors, on one of the GBICs. We have 2 fiber GBICs to connect the switch to our network. One of them was throwing tons of CRC errors. So I tracked that down, replaced that GBIC. It had overheated apparently and damaged it, so replaced that. The CRC errors are still there, but they're at a more acceptable level, and I don't see the switch bouncing. So the combination of getting air conditioning or cooling the room down and replacing that GBIC fixed that problem. Okay, that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is our special care clinic. Special care is basically California Department of Corrections brings in prisoners from the jails to basically have their appointments that they need to be seen for, like eye or ear, or they got a sore throat, whatever. We have a clinic just for the prisoners. And it's full of cages and security guards, and so it's a fun place to be. So they completely had no network at all, just zero. And I could see on Intermapper that the switch was red. So okay, that's probably a power issue. And I was right. I got there. The UPS had completely drained its battery, so it would not start up. Thank you, Trip Light. So you either have to wait and let the battery charge back up, or you have to replace the battery. So we elected to just plug the UPS in, let it charge its battery back up enough to where it could power up, but they couldn't wait. So we unplugged it from the UPS, plugged the switch into the wall, the switch came back on. They got their network and phones back, and I got a hug from a nurse, so that was great. So, okay, problem number 2 solved. So then comes problem number 3, and problem number 3 was a doozy. So by this time, I'd been up most of the night, and it was now about, what time is this? It's about 10 a.m. at this time. I'm hearing that over in our North medical clinics, which is a family clinic, we see kids and new moms and babies and things like that. So the family clinic is saying that some of their phones aren't working and some of their computers aren't working. Okay, got to be another power issue, right? Right. So I go over there and go into the network closet, and this is one of our bigger network closets. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14 switches in this closet. Yes, there are that many devices out there in this clinic. So we got one stack of 5 switches, one stack of 4 switches, and then another stack of 5 switches. Well, it was the stack of 4 switches that was serving the people that were having the problem. So I go and I check that switch stack, and I look at the redundant power supplies. Excuse me. So both power supplies on the top, on switch number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Actually, this was a 5-switch stack. Number 5, all look good. They're all up. What could it be? And I look at the switch. So I go. Indications on the switch are all normal. So I go over to to one of the nurses that's reporting the problem, and I can see her phone is off. It says, searching for network, and then all of a sudden the power went out on the phone, and it didn't come back. So I walk back into the room, and sure enough, the switch is dark. So I went back to her phone, and I used my network, my Fluke link runner, to tell me which port she was connected to. It came back and told me switch 5, port 40. So I go back to switch 5, port 40. Switch 5 is back up by now, and I plug a phone into it, and it's working just fine. So I take the phone back to her place, and it's her station, and it's not working there. So I walk back to the room. The ports are all dark again. So I sit there and watch this switch number 5 in this stack. Sit there and watch it, and it's rebooting. The stack member is rebooting over and over and over. Okay, well, let's try to power cycle it. That didn't help. It came back up and kept rebooting. That's weird. So at this point I said, you know what, I'm just going to call Extreme. They're usually really quick at diagnosing these things, and they usually are. We'll figure out what it is, and we'll get these people going. So as a short-term fix, I repatched these nurses that really needed their phones and computers. Repatched them to a functioning switch. So, okay, they're fine. No problem. So I got them off my back. So now I have time to work on this switch. So I call Extreme, and I get this very nice woman who's going to help troubleshoot the problem with me. And so she remote controls my laptop. That's fine. So I let her do that for a while I'm walking around placating the users, basically. And she's checking the logs, and it's an hour goes by, and I'm like, she said very little. So I asked her, hey, are you still there? And she comes back on the phone, yes, I'm here. Okay, you have any ideas what this is? I'm still looking. Could be this, could be that. Okay, well, is there anything we can try? Is there... I'm checking. Okay. So about 10-15 more minutes goes by, and I said, look, we got to try something. It's been over an hour. And she wants to keep checking. So now it's been 2 hours. And I really started pressing her. I said, look, what are you seeing? Talk to me. Because she hasn't been saying very much this whole time. I said, what are you seeing? Well, there seems to be an issue with the stacking module or the stacking cables. Okay, I have a spare stacking module. You want me to replace it? Well, I think we want to reseat it. Okay, you want me to just pull the stacking module out and put it back in. Is it hot swappable? No, it's not hot swappable. Okay, so I'm going to power off the switch. I pull the stacking module out. I take the cables off. I put the stacking module back in. I put the cables back on. I power off the switch. It's doing the same thing. Well, let's see. Okay, hey, so I tell her, well, why don't we just try replacing the stacking module? We replaced the stacking module. I thought for sure that would do it. Nope, didn't do it. Okay, so what else do you suggest? And she said, well, at this point, I think we're going to have to replace the switch. Okay, so luckily I had a spare switch. I get the spare switch ready. I give her a USB stick that's got the correct firmware on there. She updates the firmware. She runs all the pre-stacking commands she needs to run, theoretically. Because I don't know. I was busy running around. I should have been watching her. I wasn't. She assured me she had run all the commands, and it looked to me as if she had. And so she's ready. So I pulled out the old switch. I put the new switch in, which is not as easy as it sounds because there's 48 connections to the switch. It's hard mounted into a 2-post rack. So anyway, I'll pull it out, put it back in. That was about 15 minutes of work right there. Put the new one in, cable it up, power it on, and then my phone call to her drops because I'm using calling over Wi-Fi. So my Wi-Fi connection dropped, and I lost connection to the switches over. I was connected over Wi-Fi on my laptop, lost connection there. And within seconds, I see the help desk is calling me on the phone. So I cancel that, and I go over to look at the switch, and engineering is calling me. And then somebody from the IT department is all calling me. This is all happening at once. Okay, something is wrong there. So I powered off the replacement switch we just added, and I saw my Wi-Fi came back. So, all right. And I checked my email came back up, so I looked at my email. I got an alert from every single switch in the hospital. 200 switches all alerted me that they had gone down. So at this point, we're not sure what happened. When we put that second switch in, it appears to be a broadcast storm related to the spanning tree. I don't know. I haven't looked at the logs. But that's what it looks like to me. You plug a switch in, and then every single device in the network goes down. Yeah. Network flood. So fine, I've powered off the bottom, the switch number 5. The networks come back, but switches 1 through 4 in that stack didn't come back. So anything plugged into that port is now dead and down. Oh, great. Well, the ports aren't dead. They're just not communicating. And so I console into it, and we look at it, and it says that all the ports are not present. That's not good. So what we elected to do is completely power down the 4-switch stack and then power it back up. Once we did that, okay, fine. That got us back to where we were. All 4 switches in that stack were again communicating. Switch number 5 is still not communicating. So at this point, my boss, Amanpreet, God bless her, not only is she pretty, she's smart. She said, okay, this is what we will do. We will just take that switch number 5 and just completely erase everything on it, and we will just make it a separate switch, and at least so we can get everybody back on it and up and running. So took the switch, set it back to factory defaults, and then we programmed it up from scratch using the config from the 4-switch stack that's still working. We just looked at what module 5 configs should be. We looked at what port was assigned to what VLAN, and then we designated an uplink port, and then we designated an uplink port on the existing stack. Got all the VLANs tagged correctly, plugged it in, powered it up, and everybody's back in business. We just now have an extra switch that we didn't have before. And it's plugged in over 100, well, it's a 1 gig connection, which is fine. That's enough. But yeah, and so that was 4 hours in the making. We asked numerous times for this young lady that was our support person to upgrade to, what am I trying to say? Escalate to her next level support. She was very hesitant to do it. That support call was 4 hours, and it was only in the last 30 minutes that we actually got, a level 2 or 3 support engineer on the phone. And it was only after my boss started yelling at the poor woman. So the tech support woman is not that it matters. It really doesn't. But she was a young Indian woman. My boss is a young Indian woman. And to hear the lively and animated discussion in both Hindi and English was I don't know, it did my heart good. So anyway, we finally got the level 3 engineer on the phone. He was very apologetic, saying, what do we need to do to get this going? And I told him, well, we've been largely ignoring you these past 30 minutes because we've just been doing what needed to be done. We broke the stack up, we created a new switch, and everything's up now. And he goes, oh, okay, so we can close the case? No, you can't close the case. Because what we need to do is get this all back the way it's supposed to be. We need this to be a stack. We need it to have all 5 switches. You need to help us figure this out, because I don't want this one set of users to have only a 1 gig uplink, where before they had a 20 gig uplink. So no, we need to get this fixed. So that's where I left it. They're going to fall back and check the logs. Whatever they got. That was all yesterday, and that was coming up on me being up for 24 hours, and my boss finally she hugged me and she said, go home. So I said, okay. I really wanted to stay and see it done. She said, no, just go home. You've been here long enough. So that was yesterday, that was Thursday. Today is Friday for me. It's Sunday for you probably. Or whatever day you're watching this. Today is my birthday, so happy birthday to me. They give us this day off, so I'm taking the day off. Network admin wife and myself, we're going to go camping. So after I pick up my permit here, we'll go back and get in the trailer and go camping. And yeah, so that's the issues of the week. So yeah, you guys have asked me, well, what kind of issues can we run into? Well, those are the kind of issues you can run into. You wonder how a network can break. Yeah, it's usually power. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it's power. We've lost power to a switch, or in our case, a power spike has damaged a switch. So hopefully we can get this figured out. I'll schedule some time next week to go in early before the clinic opens, and we'll just see what we can do and get this done. Or maybe I'll stay late and get it done. So that's it. Thanks for watching this long rambling video. Hope you got something out of it. If it wasn't informative, maybe entertaining. And I will make a follow-up video as to what the ultimate outcome was. So yeah, hopefully we can find a root cause and give you guys something to look for in your careers, because it won't just happen to an Extreme switch. It could happen to a Cisco switch, Nortel, Summit, whatever. So okay, I'm gonna wind it up. You guys, thanks for watching. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next time. God bless.